Hello friends, welcome back to our channel RK Data Labs. Today we are going to continue our existing AWS Cloud series and we are into day number 17. Of course, we have seen a lot of AWS services with real-time practical demo, and today we are going to continue in service AWS Glue. So in my previous videos, I have covered a couple of use cases, but among that, we want to ensure that if you are planning for working in a project in real-time scenarios, we want to always ensure that the data quality is very important. It's not like writing a big piece of code to ensure that the data processing is taking less time to complete the job. Before that, we want to make sure that the data is absolutely in quality, so that the job will get never get more time to complete. So for that purpose, in AWS Glue there are some of the important transform logics have been built, integrated together. So that's what we are going to use it now in our AWS Glue Studio. Yes, let's move on with the video. So now if you see here in AWS Glue, we are able to see like a couple of source, transform, target. So let's try to check if there is an Amazon S3 here. I'm trying to take this Amazon S3 as one of the data source where I want to get the input file. So preferably we will collect it as a CSV file, and then let's move on to the transform where we will see like a couple of transform logics are there, right? So what I'm going to choose is there is a specifically built for quality purpose, data quality, of course. I'm just selecting this evaluate data quality. So what I'm going to do, so in this video we are going to cover there is a CSV file and we want to check some of the quality checks before doing a processing of the job to the next level. Okay, fine. So let me try to give the source file of it before moving into that. So let me give the name of the job, as it is very important, and go to the job details. Of course, three things are very important. To choose the IAM role, that is very important, and then I am trying to use only two number of workers for my job. I'm just simply saving this job, then coming back to visual again. So where I said before, I'm just going to select the CSV file. So before going into the, today we are going to use the CSV file. So it is from test data warehouse. So I am going to also query the data. So how the data is actually looking like. So we have like four different columns here: ID, first name, last name, and age. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this bucket. So it is sample CSV, test CSV. So let me go back and just select this and just go ahead with selecting the CSV format as well. The moment you complete this, we can able to see the output schema as well as the data which is present here. So it is trying to give up the kind of preview where you can easily able to see the data which is as like you see in the S3 bucket, this console. Once this is done, what we are going to do, we are just going to simply go to the transform evaluate data quality. So where if I just maximize this, right, you can able to see like lot of information around. Let's say, let me minimize it. Okay, if you try to see his, right, there is an issue around. Let me check what is the issue. Okay, so it is trying to say that there is no rules again. So now we will match that one. So if you try to see this, right, in this explorer there are like lot of rules, inbuilt rules have been here. So like aggregate match, if you just simply click on, it will give you a kind of example. So let's say like if you have a kind of numeric transformation is happening, you can even check that aggregate match of you can put the sum or min or max or even average, any kind of window table functions to check if the condition is actually satisfied, and then do a proceed with the next level of transformation. Likewise, there are like lot of inbuilt rules have been provided by the AWS Glue API itself. So if you scroll down, column correlation, column count. So if you just simply select this, right, so we want to only see that we can check basically how many number of columns are present in a data set. So likewise, right, so if you can even scroll down, like column data type, if you can just maximize it, right, column data type, column equal to date. So you just check whether the respective column name is of which data type it is. Let's say if you are expecting a data type to a column, and if it throws you a string data type, right, we can easily evaluate like that column cannot be even further processed to the next level for our data transformation. So such kind of all data quality checks have been easily integrated with here. So maybe I'll just go down here. Even if you want to check if there is a column exist or not, you can just simply use this column exist like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just simply going to click on this plus. So I'm just going to cut it. So I'm just going to use here. Okay. So now I will know that. So we will do both cases, positive and negative case. I know that there are 4 columns are available. So let me select here. Once you select here, so what you can do, you can just minimize it and you are at the transform page. So now what it will do, it will try to give you the expected response. Like what we are condition is column count equal to 4. So now what it is just simply did is just go to the S3 file, I mean the data set CSV, and it checks whether it has 4 columns or not. That is so simple. So let me do something different. I will try to give 5 and let's see like what kind of output it throws back. So let me try to save this and let's see like what it is throwing. Eventually, right, it should be throwing us false. So obviously it has thrown the false. I mean it is nothing but the fail, because the contained data set which we have loaded has only 4 columns. So obviously, right, so now we are able to see like expecting the correct results. So let me minimize it and try to maximize this one. You can use this pane and then let me check with this column exist one. Let me use this. We know that there is a column called ID. So what we can do, we can check if this column exists or not. Okay. Let me check if that is working correctly. Let me minimize it. Let me maximize this window. You can able to see, right, column exist ID equal to past, because we know that that column is still present, right? All right. So let's see some more use cases again. So let's say if you have a column length, right? So let me try to add this as well. So let me check like ID lesser than 10. So of course it is true. Let me check like greater than 10. Let's try to see what it throws. So we are checking the column name ID is whether it is greater than 10 or not. So simply it has been failed, right? So obviously when I change the expression, it gives us the result perfectly. Let me try to save this back again. Maximize it. So you can able to see the condition outcome as passed, because it checks the condition has been satisfied correctly. So that's why it has been passed accordingly, right? Let me go back here and then let me check like, there are some more things. Let me check whether it is a primary key or not. Cut it. Let me test with some other column. Okay. So there is something called row count. Let me check just as well. Row count is greater than 1000. So obviously, right, so these rule number 6 and 7, obviously it should fail, because fname we don't see that it is having a unique value. So it cannot be a unique value because it has some kind of restriction and there is no proper constraint have been framed. So let's see anyway. Let me try to save this, minimize it, and let's see what kind of outcome it is populating here. So if you try to see this, right, so it has been row count is greater than 1000 is, of course it is not there, because the number of rows which we have seen in this data set is only 4 excluding the header. So this has been failed. So when we try to set these kind of numbers, even in some cases it can be dynamic, right? So we will not be ensuring that whether it is correct or not. It is basically assuming that this, let's say you have some valid number, and if it crosses beyond the threshold, you can simply check if that is going or not. So likewise, those kind of entry level validations you can even simply able to evaluate using this data quality check. And of course, if you go this primary key, and I see like in fname we don't see any values which is repeated. Let me try with going with lname. So obviously that has not been unique, right? So let me try to check this as well. Alright, so if you can able to see the failed outcome, because lname doesn't have the constraint, because it is not unique. So if you try to see the data set, right, I'm having the value called Kanna in 2 different occurrences, of course, right? So likewise, you have more number of options populated over here. Like, you can check like schema match. You can very well, understand like what is the schema and what is any kind of threshold that we are doing. And like that, some uniqueness, unique value ratio, and all those stuffs like use unique and column completeness and everything are also there present here. Okay, so in this video I've just given an overall background about how to check the data. Maybe it is not like CSV alone we can check. You can, you can check a text file, parquet file, or JSON file, or anything you can do. So how do we check it? Just minimize it. I will check back this, click this, and if you come back here, you can even to see, there are a lot of formats are there. You can see JSON, CSV already we have seen it, parquet, yes you can do, and hoodie format, Delta Lake, or those two are added very recently. So in addition to CSV, there are like additional data sources where you can see, able to perform this data quality check before moving on to the data transformation layer. So obviously this helps us to understand how good the data is actually in order to move ahead with the data transformation logics accordingly. Alright guys, so today we have seen some kind of good information about data quality, how to ensure it using AWS Glue. Keep watching my videos. In my next upcoming videos, I will be taking care of another good important use case from AWS Glue. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned.